and today we're diving into something that's absolutely blowing up online right now. Have you noticed Cleopatra is everywhere on TikTok lately? Seriously, it feels like every other video is about her iconic look or her wild life story. From bold eyeliner tutorials that totally channel her dramatic style, to Netflix documentaries that dig into her mysterious past, this ancient queen is having a major moment in pop culture. It's wild. A queen from over 2,000 years ago is still setting trends, inspiring memes, and sparking debates all over social media. People can't get enough of her story. She's basically the original influencer. Think about it. Power, beauty, a dash of scandal, and a legacy that refuses to fade. No wonder she's gone viral again and again. But Cleopatra wasn't just a pretty face or a fashion icon. She was a boss in a man's world, ruling Egypt with intelligence, strategy, and charisma. She knew how to make an entrance and how to make history. So, let's dive in and unpack the real story behind the legend. There's so much more to Cleopatra than just her looks or her romances. Who was Cleopatra really? Why does her name still spark so much fascination? And why can't we stop talking about her, even after all these centuries? Get ready, because we're about to spill the tea on the queen who's breaking the internet, and discover why Cleopatra's story is more relevant and more epic than ever before. First, let's clear up a common myth. Cleopatra, the legendary queen of Egypt, wasn't actually ethnically Egyptian. Many people imagine her as a native daughter of the Nile, but her roots tell a different story. Cleopatra was Greek Macedonian, descended from the Ptolemaic dynasty, a royal family that took control of Egypt after Alexander the Great's empire split apart. For nearly 3 centuries, her ancestors ruled as outsiders, maintaining Greek traditions in a foreign land. But Cleopatra was different. Unlike the Ptolemies before her, she learned to speak the Egyptian language fluently, a rare move for her family. She also participated in Egyptian religious ceremonies and adopted many local customs, showing a genuine respect for the culture she ruled. She became the first in her dynasty to truly connect with her people, blending her Greek heritage with Egyptian identity. This cultural fusion made her unique, allowing her to bridge 2 worlds and win the hearts of her subjects. By embracing both sides of her lineage, Cleopatra transformed herself from a foreign ruler into a true pharaoh in the eyes of Egyptians. Her coronation wasn't just a ceremony, it was a powerful symbol of unity and acceptance. Her iconic look, bold eyeliner, elaborate headdress, and dazzling jewelry was more than just fashion. It was a carefully crafted statement. I am your pharaoh, and I belong here. Cleopatra was a master at bridging cultures, shaping her public image and inspiring loyalty among her people. She understood the power of symbolism and used it to unite a divided land. She wasn't just born into power, she worked tirelessly to earn it, proving herself as a capable and charismatic leader. That's why, centuries later, Cleopatra's story still fascinates us. She was more than a queen. She was a symbol of transformation, resilience, and the enduring power of identity. Cleopatra's life was pure drama. She became queen at 18, but had to share the throne with her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII. Court advisors turned him against her, and she was exiled. Most would give up, but Cleopatra plotted her comeback. Enter Julius Caesar. Cleopatra famously had herself smuggled to him, legend says, rolled in a carpet. Caesar was impressed by her boldness and intelligence. With his support, she reclaimed her throne. It was the ultimate power move, a comeback for the ages. Never underestimate a determined queen. Cleopatra's alliances with Rome didn't just change her own fate, they changed the course of world history. As the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, she was a woman of extraordinary intelligence, charm, and ambition, determined to secure her throne and her nation's future. With Julius Caesar, Cleopatra formed a legendary power couple. Her kingdom's immense wealth and resources in exchange for Rome's military protection and political support. Their relationship was as much about strategy as it was about passion, and together they reshaped the balance of power in the ancient world. Their union produced a son, Caesarion, whom Cleopatra hoped would one day rule both Egypt and Rome, uniting two great civilizations under her lineage. After Caesar's shocking assassination, Cleopatra turned her attention to another Roman powerhouse, Mark Antony, a charismatic and ambitious general who was rising to prominence. Their first meeting was the stuff of legend. Cleopatra sailed to him on a golden barge, dressed as the goddess Isis, dazzling Antony and capturing the imagination of all of Rome. Their partnership was both passionate and strategic. Together they ruled the East, blending Egyptian opulence with Roman power, and dreamed of building a new empire that would rival Rome itself. For a time they seemed unstoppable, combining Roman military might with the vast riches and culture of Egypt, hosting lavish banquets and living in legendary splendor. But their love story was also a high-stakes political gamble, one that would eventually put them on a dangerous collision course with Rome's most powerful leaders and threaten everything they had built together. Cleopatra was a master of turning romance into power, using her relationships to strengthen her position and protect her people. She was always playing the long game, thinking several moves ahead, determined to leave her mark on history. Cleopatra was more than her romances. She was a powerhouse leader. Under her rule, Egypt thrived. She reformed the economy, stabilized the nation, and kept her people fed. She spoke 9 languages, negotiated treaties, and was highly educated in science and philosophy. Cleopatra mastered public image, presenting herself as the goddess Isis to strengthen her authority. She hosted grand festivals and made sure her people saw her as both divine and approachable. Her intelligence and charisma commanded respect from rulers and subjects alike. Cleopatra was a true CEO, smart, strategic, and always in control. Her leadership, not just her love life, made her legendary. Cleopatra and Antony's alliance threatened Rome's new leader, Octavian. Octavian launched a propaganda war, painting Cleopatra as a dangerous seductress. The conflict exploded at the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra and Antony lost everything. Trapped in Alexandria, Antony died in Cleopatra's arms after a false report of her death. Facing capture and humiliation, Cleopatra chose her own ending. According to legend, she let a venomous asp bite her, dying as a queen, not a trophy. Her death ended the era of pharaohs and made Egypt a Roman province. Cleopatra's final act was her ultimate power move. She controlled her story to the very end. 2,000 years later, Cleopatra is still an icon. She defied expectations, ruled in a man's world, and left a legacy of strength and intelligence. Her influence is everywhere, from makeup trends to movies, fashion, and art. We're finally seeing her as more than a seductress. She was a brilliant multicultural leader. Online trends and pop culture are reclaiming her story, celebrating her complexity and power. Cleopatra reminds us that true icons never fade. They inspire generation after generation. Next time you see a Cleopatra look, remember the queen behind the legend. She's not just a trend, she's a legend, and legends never go out of style. Cleopatra, a queen from over 2,000 years ago, is suddenly everywhere in June 2025. Not in museums, but on our social media feeds. The Cleopatra Makeup Challenge has gone viral, with people everywhere recreating her iconic look. Bold eyeliner, gold eyeshadow, and regal accessories. Influencers like Ivana Alawi have fueled the trend, inspiring millions to channel Cleopatra's legendary style. But this is more than a makeup fad. It's about embodying a legend. When people recreate her look, they're tapping into Cleopatra's story of power, intelligence, and unapologetic femininity. It's a way to feel, even briefly, as commanding as the Queen of the Nile. Through these videos, history is being reimagined for a new generation. Cleopatra's legacy is now told in pixels, not papyrus. Some figures are so compelling they transcend time and become icons all over again. In 2025, Cleopatra reigns, not over Egypt, but over our collective imagination. Beyond the viral trend lies the real Cleopatra VII Philopator, the last pharaoh of Egypt. She was Greek Macedonian, not Egyptian by blood, but she learned the Egyptian language and embraced her people. Cleopatra's reign began under the looming threat of Rome, and she knew military might alone wouldn't save her kingdom. Her true power was her intellect. She was a shrewd strategist, skilled diplomat, and reportedly spoke 9 languages. She stabilized Egypt's economy, managed court politics, and presented herself as the goddess Isis to legitimize her rule. Cleopatra's intelligence and political savvy set her apart in a world dominated by powerful men. Her story is one of resilience and genius, not just romance and glamour. She fought fiercely to protect her homeland and secure her throne. The real Cleopatra was a formidable ruler whose legacy endures because of her mind, not just her image. Cleopatra knew Egypt's survival depended on alliances with Rome's most powerful men. Her first major ally was Julius Caesar. She famously had herself smuggled into his presence, rolled in a carpet, a bold move that won his support. Their partnership was both personal and political. Caesar gained Egypt's wealth, Cleopatra secured her throne, and together they had a son, Caesarion. After Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra allied with Mark Antony, meeting him in legendary style and forging a bond that was both strategic and romantic. Together they ruled the Eastern Roman world from Alexandria, dreaming of a grand empire for their children. Their partnership was a threat to Antony's rival Octavian, setting the stage for a dramatic showdown. Cleopatra's alliances were masterstrokes of diplomacy, turning potential enemies into partners. But these relationships also made her a target for Roman propaganda. The fate of Egypt and Cleopatra herself would soon be decided by the ambitions of Rome. Her story with Caesar and Antony is a testament to her political acumen. Cleopatra's choices shaped the destiny of empires. Cleopatra and Antony's alliance was too great a threat for Rome to ignore. Octavian, Antony's rival, used propaganda to turn Rome against them, painting Cleopatra as a dangerous temptress. War was declared, and in 31 BCE, the Battle of Actium sealed their fate. Octavian's fleet crushed their forces. Defeated, Cleopatra and Antony fled to Egypt, their dreams in ruins. As Octavian closed in, Antony, believing Cleopatra dead, took his own life. Cleopatra, refusing to be paraded as a trophy, chose her own end, legend says, by asp bite. With her death, the Ptolemaic dynasty ended and Egypt became a Roman province. The fall of Cleopatra marked the end of an era for Egypt and the ancient world. Her dramatic final act ensured her legend would live on. The Queen of the Nile's story became one of history's greatest tragedies. Cleopatra's death was just the beginning of her legend. For centuries, she's inspired plays, films, and endless fascination, each era reimagining her anew. She's been a romantic heroine, a political mastermind, and a symbol of female power.